and this is our full moon and winter solstice card pull party and celebration, energy update, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to be doing a guided meditation too. Let me just fix my screen here. I think I'm going way over the wrong way. Hello. Let me invite a few folks on, see if they can come. And then hope everybody has a beautiful Christmas planned, or whatever celebration you choose. Yuletide, solstice. Let's see. All right, I've invited a few folks, and then all right. Give it a few seconds, see if a few people pop on. I know it may be a little quiet in here if everybody's out with the holidays and visiting with family, that sort of thing. So, all right. I have a little gift for you guys as well. I'm going to be giving you all a little mini course that I created like about a year or two ago called Overcoming Energetic Blocks with the Moon Cycle. And if you request it, I'll put it in the comments section. You can sign up for that and get it right away. It's just a little booklet, and it has a couple of the guided meditations in there. I'm going to do one of them that's a healing meditation for the waxing moon cycle, which is when the moon cycle is going from the new moon to the full moon. And so we're now in the full moon, and we're feeling really full. And let me get a sip of water here. So when you're feeling really full, sometimes it can give you what's called a false sense of scarcity, because if this is your container full of what you don't want, then you only have like maybe this illusion of this much room for what you do want. And so this meditation is teaching you how to empty out, especially get grounded when you're feeling really ungrounded, and especially in this full moon in Cancer, which is real watery. Cancer itself is a water sign. The moon, which is ruled by Cancer, is definitely has influence over the waters, the tides. And so I definitely think that the use of the water element in this guided meditation will help you all as well. So I wanted to talk into a little bit about the energy, but first I'm going to smudge and open sacred space, and hopefully a few people will pop on. If not, you can check out the recording. All right, let me light my smudge here. I've got somebody gifted me some sage from their garden. So I don't believe it's, I think it's just common sage. It's not necessarily white sage, but it'll do the trick. And then some cedar, which is also a ceremonial herb. The Native Americans use cedar for a lot of their smudges. Okay. Get this going here. Okay. Smudging everybody, figuratively, symbolically. Welcome if you're just coming on. Hi, Clara. Let me know if you'd like a card, okay? I'm going to use, I haven't used this fan in a long time, but my mentor Olga went to Sedona, Arizona and got it. And it's kind of hard to do while I'm sitting, but isn't this a beautiful, beautiful fan? So usually you'll move the energy down. And go clockwise around the body, right? So if you get a chance to use a fan to help, fans are for smudging and also for moving energy. Another thing, another great tool to use for energy is a cord cutter. You can get them, tools, you can see them on Etsy if you don't have a local like spiritual store where they have like a crystal on it and it's a cord cutter, and you'll do cord cutting ceremonies. So when I do this guided meditation, we'll be talking about that as well. Cord cutting, that is. So I'm going to go clockwise around the body. And by the way, if you feel that you're full of something that you don't want, you can literally, I've been getting really into somatic therapy, like getting into the body, literally getting energy out of your body you don't want and inviting in the energy that you do want. So, which is also very, somatic therapy is very common in trauma work. And one of the aspects about it is a very sensory aspect of in doing, instead of just being abstract in your mind, for healing. And so one of the ways that you can actually move your body and move energy out of your body is to quite literally start moving in a counterclockwise circle to undo some energy that you don't want. So for example, if you're feeling really stressed, you can do some moving meditation in a counterclockwise way, and it will help you to, as you're maybe chanting or saying whatever, some prayer, or I now release blah, blah, you use it at your discretion, but the act of physically moving and talking and saying the words out loud, it does something for your brain to help you literally get the energy out of your body. So, so this other thing too I wanted to talk about, as now I've smudged everybody, and I'm also smudging you guys as well. This aspect of the new moon, or the full moon, and the solstice. Okay, the solstice is, if you aren't familiar, the solstice is a time when, let's just say, sorry, we're going to use my my lighter here as an example of the axis of the earth, right? And the solstice was just a way that our ancestors learned how to mark time. And during the winter solstice, in the northern hemisphere, this is the east for me and the west, okay? So this will be a mirror image, okay? During the winter solstice, we're the furthest away from the sun, the top half. We kind of rotate. And then during the summer, we rotate towards the sun. And if you notice, if here's the equator, the bottom half of the planet Earth is the exact opposite. So for us, the winter solstice is actually the summer solstice for the southern hemisphere. So we happen to be in the winter solstice in the sign of Capricorn. For us, December 21st is the beginning of the sign of Capricorn, when the sun goes into Capricorn. And it can last for up to 3 days. So here we are, we're in Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, okay? While we're here, over here, I'm actually articulating that the sun is, the northern hemisphere, the earth is tilted towards the sun. That would be the summer, right? The summer, when the sun is the closest to the earth, or the earth is tilted the closest towards the earth. So it's nice and warm, and our days are the longest. This is the longest day of the year. That would be the summer solstice, June 21st, thereabouts. Then we tilt way back over, and here we are, December 21st. I know we're now at the 23rd, but the solstice can last up to 3 days. We're over here in the winter solstice. We're the furthest from the sun, so we have the longest night, right? So it's important that we recognize that it's in the sign of Capricorn, like I said, which is ruled by Saturn, and we have a full moon, which is illuminating the darkest night of the year, right? So really, we're sort of interrupting the darkest night with this beautiful full moon. And this aspect of a full moon on the winter solstice has only taken place like 7 or 8 times since the 1800s. So it's kind of a powerful time. And it's illuminating our process of releasing. And the fact that the full moon is in Cancer, which is the moon itself ruled by Cancer, and Cancer is a water sign, and the moon has a profound effect on the tides and the water. It's sort of polar opposites, right? We've got Capricorn, which is Saturn, which is structure, which is like the father, which is like logic, your responsibilities, the weight of your responsibilities, doing what you're supposed to do. And then you've got over here the full moon in Cancer, and I don't know about you, but I like full moon sensitivity quite a bit. And this particular moon, which is Cancer, watery, I'm a fire sign, I'm a Sagittarius, this was a very edgy, kind of like, I'm really full kind of feeling. Think of premenstrual syndrome, where we feel bloated with water and we're discomforted. It's uncomfortable feeling. Some people are very, very sensitive to the moon, and especially women who are intuitive, and our cycles are in tune with the full moon, or you know, if we bleed during the full moon, or if we don't. A lot of women bleed during the new moon, and they ovulate during the full moon. Okay, so if you're feeling that kind of like edgy, I can't quite get grounded, I'm going to do this little guided meditation that I created about a couple years ago. I put together it's called Overcoming Energetic Blocks with the Moon Cycle. And I did it for that sake of using the moon and its cycles to work with this energy, right? And I'm feeling this particularly right now, the sense of a false scarcity, of being too full of like kind of agitated energy, and then needing to be grounded and empty out and get still. That's exactly what the solstice is about. Emptying out, getting still, going into the darkest night, right? And leaving that space, that energetic chalice, the grail, right? The energetic vessel or container, open to be filled with what we want, right? In the new year. That's what the new light is. That's what the winter solstice is about. The darkest night, moving in and awaiting the new light, right? So now that we've smudged, I'm going to open up some sacred space here. Somebody is messaging me. I wonder if it's someone who wants a card. Pardon me for 1 second while I check. Okay. No. All right. So, to the winds of the east, we welcome you, spirit of eagle. This is the fire element. This is the dawning of the sun, place of the rising sun. We welcome you in to give us the bird's eye view. We welcome you to show us how to narrow down all of the noise from way up high and zero in on what we need to focus on Earth. We thank you so much, Spirit of Eagle, for giving us this beautiful perspective. And this is also, the winds of the east is also the space, the place, the direction of our father's lineage. So we welcome you in. Thank you. Aho. Now we call you in, winds of the south. This is earth element. This is spirit of snake. This is also spirit of all the woodland creatures, the earth creatures, the two-legged, the four-legged, the wolves, the little mouse. We welcome you in, earth element. We welcome you in, spirit of snake. We thank you so much for showing us how to shed old skin, how to travel humbly close to Mother Earth. We thank you for being the youth of our lifetime, the full noon of our lifetime. And this is also the lineage of our father's mother. Thank you. Welcome. Aho. Now, the winds of the west, water element. We're really feeling you. Lots of water energy. Spirit of whale, spirit of jaguar, spirit of dolphin. The moon is definitely using your utilizing your energy and affecting us. This is the place of the setting sun. This is the place of releasing. This is the adulthood of our life. This is where we harvest all of our lessons from rites of passage and the dark night of the soul. And on this winter solstice, I think we're really going to appreciate the winds of the west to release, to help us on the darkest night of the year. So we thank you for this wonderful water energy. And this is the place of our mother's lineage. We welcome you in. Thank you. Aho. And now, spirit of the ancient ones, the winds of the north, we call you in, place of our ancestors. Spirit of buffalo, spirit of elk, spirit of caribou, spirit of the hummingbird. This is the winter of our lifetime. This is air element. This is going within and knowing ourselves and having the wisdom of the ages. This is us in crone stage. This is the wise old woman, the wise old father. We thank you for being the winter time of our life and preparing us to go back to the void. We thank you so much for this energy. This is the place of our mother's father's lineage. We welcome you in. Thank you. Aho. And then, of course, to Mother Earth, Gaia, Pachamama, we love you so much. Thank you for guiding us and all of your womb wisdom, nourishing us, showing us in this beautiful full moon in Cancer how to nourish the self, how to love ourselves, how to provide that sense of fullness and abundance. We love you so much, and we thank you for sustaining all life here on Earth. Thank you. And to Father Sky and Star Nations, we thank you for being the space between, above, below, within, without. We thank you for all the mysteries of the universe. We thank you for being the one true creator. And to all of our Star Nations who are guiding us, watching us from afar, we thank you. And Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun, thank you for helping us to mark time. And Grandmother Moon for showing us you're beautiful and how full we stay no matter what phase we are in. And we are always whole. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you. And I would personally like to thank Spirit of Wolf for always being my animal totem. I am so grateful to you for being the mighty teacher that you are. Clara says, I had a dream of a wolf sitting and waiting for me to wake up. She took me on a journey and moved through a lot of things. It was cool. Yeah. I love Wolf. Wolf Spirit is there for us to be our greatest teacher and to go away to be on our vision quest and then come back and teach others. So I think for me, Wolf is an excellent spirit totem to use to move through rites of passage, because you're going through your subconscious, the forest, the place that's unknown, and you're going down the path, and Wolf shows you how to go on that path without any guidance, really. You are the way shower at that point. And then you get to come back to the pack and share what you learned. And so I find Wolf to be a very powerful teacher and an ally, really. Some of the lessons are very hard won, trust me. But yes, so we thank you for Spirit of Wolf. And I would also like to invite in, during this Christmas time, Spirit of Jesus and Mother Mary, the Mother of God, and Jesus' beloved Mary Magdalene. I really call upon Jesus, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, when I'm really just needing like divine love. And this is the perfect time to celebrate the light of the world was born, right? Jesus was born. Jesus the man, Yeshua. There's another piece too about the solstice and the full moon. It's definitely masculine, divine, feminine. And during this new paradigm, as we move from the age of Pisces, the fisherman, Jesus, the fisherman, right, to the age of Aquarius, which is all about, instead of requiring a teacher to show you, the sacred union is saying your relationship to the other is how you'll find divinity. And that's why we're having such a hard time with, you know, the patriarchy and divine feminine and all that, because we weren't modeling that. We weren't modeling what Yeshua and Magdalene had, this sacred union. And during this solstice with the moon in Cancer, it's asking us to honor this sacred union. And so I'm going to, when I do individual card pulls, if you'd like a Magdalene card, I'm really feeling her energy lately, like she wants to speak through me. Let me know if that's the kind of card you want. I know quite a few people really like the animal cards. If you'd like an animal card individually, that's another one I can do. And then, of course, I use my beautiful herbal tarot, my go-to cards for, you know, plant medicine, earth energy. So let me know which kind of card you like. I know Karen had asked for a card and Julie had asked for a card. So I'm going to pull one for you guys. And then Claire, what kind of card would you like? Let me know. If, in the meantime, if we're feeling real edgy, let's do, I've been doing, like I said, somatic or embodiment exercises. In fact, I'm going to be doing an interview with a dear friend of mine, Sama Morningstar, for her upcoming summit called Embodied Shakti. Shakti being like life force, energy. And I'm going to be talking in particular about how when you're out of balance, your physical body will show you. And mine manifested in the way of menstrual migraines. And this little guided meditation that I'm going to do right now is going to help you move and empty out some of that unwanted, what the Quechua Indians call hucha, like that heavy, dense energy you don't want, and help you feel a little grounded. So let's first start with getting into our bodies, okay? And some of that can, at first I felt kind of silly making some of these noises, but I found that when I was just breathing and going, I didn't really move a lot of energy. And so sound is really important. Sound and movement get you really into your body, right? And so let's take a few deep breaths. And as we let it out, let's make some noise, like, and like shake, get it out of our body. Kind of like if you see something gross and you go, ugh. Move it out of your body. That's our body's natural way of moving something you don't want out of us, making that noise. Go. Or even just going, another deep breath. Let it out. Shake it. I felt kind of silly at first making this noise, but let me tell you, after I did it, I felt like, wow, like it just really, like it moved it out of me. Maybe why people, when they're moving energy and doing some trauma therapy, they tell them to like punch a pillow, scream into the pillow. It gets that energy out of you, right? So let's do it one more time. So now close your eyes, and I want you to imagine that you have this bright flame. It symbolizes your life force, and it's going to take root in your womb. See that light? It's the eternal flame. It's glowing beautifully. And it's going to form a root. It's going to go down, down, down through Mother Gaia, through Mother Earth, through her beautiful dark soil. And every breath you take moves your womb root all the way through all of the crystal caves, the waterways, all the way down into Mother Earth's center, into Mother Earth's womb. And you just instinctively know where Mother Earth has a special place for you in her womb. A place where you feel anchored and nourished and loved and safe in her dark womb, the amniotic fluid of her dark womb. Just feel that peaceful space. As you're feeling that beautiful, peaceful space, I want you to begin noticing feelings or sensations of density in your body. And place that consciousness in that area. Notice if anyone or anything, an image or a memory is attached to that space in your body. It could be from your third chakra, your sense of self, your sense of power. It could be on your left ovary, left being the feminine side. Maybe something or somebody is attached to and draining your feminine essence. Where in your body are you feeling this? Is it your throat? What does it look like? How are you attached? Are there energetic cords attaching them to you? What does it look like? Say to that person or thing, I now release you from my consciousness. Go in peace. Or whatever you need to say to replace it. I let you go now. Go in peace. Envision cutting the cords and exhaling sharply as you do so, trusting you've completed the process. Like a real sharp exhale. Get that energy out of you. You can do this with your hands. If you need to visualize cutting it, just gone. Go in peace. If you have more than one spot of density, go to that space and repeat the process. So you do this as many times as you need to until you no longer feel density in your body. Take a few breaths as we process this. Once your body feels clear, picture yourself standing in waist deep, clear, natural pool of water. Feel the sensation like Mother Gaia's amniotic womb swirling peacefully around you. This is a lovely feeling. It's comforting. And visualize yourself looking up at the night sky, full of stars, and feel into infinity, the beautiful mysteries of the universe, other sky, star nations, all the dark matter, space of creation, where thoughts become things, the beautiful womb of the universe. Really feel into that infinity. The emptiness of it, and yet the fullness of it. And lift your arms up in a V shape as you are a chalice, like the Holy Grail, your infinite divine container, your energetic vessel. And tell the universe, Father Sky, the one true creator, I now empty myself to receive your abundance. Know and feel an infinite source of love and abundance come to you. Feel the worthiness of it and sit with that energy as long as you like. You're so loved. As above, so below. As within, so without. More deep breath. And as we breathe in, now we're going to tell Mother Gaia, thank you. Thank you for your nourishment. We're going to take that root and call it back to us. Breathing in. And every breath inward, we call that root back to our womb. Feeling the nourishment that we received. So calm, loved, resourced. When you feel the roots all the way back up to your womb, slowly begin wiggling your fingers, maybe cracking your eyelids, coming back into your body. When you're ready, you can fully open your eyes. Already feel much better. That real agitated sort of full moon fever. It's an excellent exercise when you're feeling that. If you're having some insomnia, I think sometimes the insomnia is good. It puts us in this creative state. We want to get it out, right? Do some poetry, writing, journaling. But it helps you get steady, not so ungrounded. So I hope you enjoyed that guided meditation. Let me know what you think. And I'll put a link to my little mini course in the comments towards the end of the card reading. Feel free, if you'd like, to record the exercises. You can do so on, you can get a podcast app called, there's so many of them, but you can get a podcast app called Anchor. I don't know if you can see this. It's the purple one. It's kind of hard to tell. If you have an iPhone, you can do Anchor as an app. You can even go online and I believe order the app. And you can do recordings. You can even do voice recordings straight on your phone. However you want to record it. And you can play it back to yourself. Sometimes the sound of your own voice is really comforting. So, and I find that listening as your eyes are closed helps you really get into the body. So, let's get started on the card reading. All right. So, I'm going to do 3 cards. And as I'm shuffling, we're going to ask Spirit, infinite divine guidance. What do we need to know right now? Where are we at right now? That'll be card number 1. Card number 2 will be, what do I need to release? Card number 3 will be, how do I let this go? How do I release it? What do I need to know to release it? And then I'll do a card to give us the overall energy for this waxing. We're now moving into the waning period of the moon. After the moon is full, then it starts waning, right? It gets smaller and smaller. So what are we releasing? Now that we've burst our creation out into the world with the full moon, how do we release it and let it go? All right. So what do we need to know right now? Where are we at right now? What do we need to let go? How do we let go of it? The overall energy. All right. So we got 6 of Swords, Vervain. Can you see that right there? It's a little cloudy. 6 of Swords. Swords being air energy, which I'm not surprised. We're in the winds of the north, right? The northern hemisphere, the solstice, we're lots of air energy. Capricorn. 6 of Swords, 6 of Swords. I've never worked with Vervain, so I'm not sure the energy of that. Okay, so Vervain, 6 swords are traveling on a boat to a far off shore. The sun, which can be looked at as rising or setting, indicates a new cycle beginning or an old cycle ending. So this is really like typical, that it's very appropriate. What is the solstice? Solstice, dark night of the soul, emptying out after the full moon, right? And setting your intentions for the new light, the new year, really. What are your plans? I think it's really important to set intentions. I know a lot of people will say, oh, New Year's resolutions, but I think if you feel that you really have something you want to set out to do, you got to set intentions for it. For me, the new year is all about radical self-love. And getting in the body and releasing toxins from the body. I'm going to be doing taking up a little yoga practice, nothing big, just something maybe 15 minutes a day, and then really getting into the body and releasing trauma and doing somatic therapy that way. So what are your intentions? Ask yourself, what do I want to do? The journey into a different way of viewing things has begun. A new perspective is unfolding. So like anything you had, any obstacles, oh, I never did things that way before, that's all in the past. So Allowing the old views to leave will expose a fresh approach. Be willing to let go of the cobwebs in the mind. Now, this is where we're at right now, okay? So we're setting the intentions to let go of the old. So maybe we come together for the holidays. This is a great time when all the triggers come up and families together. And we may feel like, oh my gosh, I thought, you know, we've been over this. I don't know why this stuff is coming up. Old triggers, old conflicts, they all come up to see if you want to do it a different way this time, right? You want to approach life a different way. Do you want to up level? Do you want to move through it to a different, newer way of being, right? Example, my boys are here visiting, my two older boys, and a lot of times I get super stressed out, and they, you know, they like to cuss and they like to do typical teenage boy things that, you know, aggravate me as a mom, and I would get really stressed out. And I told myself, I'm not going to be stressed out. I'm going to stay in a space of enjoyment this time. So sure enough, they started doing some typical things that they do that normally would aggravate me. And I was like, don't try to change it. Maintain yourself. Maintain your sense of joy and peace within. And I tell you what, like, they noticed I wasn't reacting, I wasn't getting upset, I wasn't getting angry, and they kind of stopped behaving that way on their own. So I was like, geez, this is good. Like, a new way of me dealing with the way their behavior is and how it affects me. And so that's really important. It's like, don't let other people's behavior affect you. You're the one who decides how you feel about it, right? So be willing to let go of the cobwebs in the mind. A new location or job or journey may be necessary to throw one into the new perspective more completely. And it's really important to take time and make space to set these intentions. So like, make a date for yourself. You know, whatever time it is, like, and set aside an hour. It's going to be like my intentions ceremony, or because I find that just the act of setting the intentions to have a ceremony really cements those intentions to the universe, right? And better than just an abstract idea, like, oh, I think I'd like to do this in the new year. For example, me wanting to do my yoga practice. I've got to set up a little area in my home that's going to be specifically just for the yoga practice, and maybe start doing it. Don't just think about it. Start doing it early. There's nothing wrong with doing it early. Just the act of physically showing I'm making space for this. You know, like, if you build it, they will come, that sort of thing. Really helps make it real. Versus, you know, that space between where thoughts become things. However, just the willingness to allow thoughts to be open to change may be sufficient. If you're going through a situation that, you know, feels stuck to you, or like, here I am again doing the same thing all over again, say, one moment, please. I'm creating space to think something differently about this. And I kind of had to do that. I was driving in the car with my boys when I went to go pick them up, and I was just like, don't get annoyed, put a space in between. And now in this space is where I filled it with allowance, letting what is be, you know? And then I get to choose to be a different way. Hey, Kimberly, welcome. Let me know if you want a card. Try to step back from your problems and situations so that a clearer perspective may be obtained. I can't say how important this is. Like, you can't be in it and have a good perspective about how to deal with it. You know, I have to step away and go meditate a little bit. Oh yeah, I'm still in the group reading. Yes, you can get a card. Let me know what kind you want. I am doing the Magdalene Oracle for individual cards, of course my Herbal Tarot, or the Animal card. And we're on card 1, which is where we're at right now as far as the full moon and how we can use the waning energy, right? And what do we need to release? So take that time, make a date for yourself. There's a great book called The Artist's Way and by Julia Cameron. And she would say you have to make like an artist date. And for me to do spiritual practice in this busy modern world, you have to make a spiritual date. That's why people go to church, you know? Make church day for yourself. Make spiritual practice day for yourself. I have dates where I'm like, I specifically set aside to make some anointing oils. I'm making a little project for my mother for Christmas, and that's my date to be like in prayer. Every stitch that I do is in prayer. So these are the ways that you set your intentions. So vervain is a quite fascinating herb. Priests called it herba sacra, hello, because it was used for sacrifices. Interesting. The Celts used it in their anointing waters for purification during rites and rituals. How funny. We were just talking about anointing. Magicians and sorcerers employed an ointment of vervain. Many wore the bruised plant around the neck to prevent headaches, to help with sight, and to protect against venomous bites. So, in modern times, vervain may again find a place in your seeking to see things from a different perspective by opening up the sixth chakra or third eye. If you don't have vervain readily available, as I always say, you can write the word down, you can get a picture of it, the essence of it, put it right on your forehead, or just think about it, like, you know, get some anointing oil or stick it right there and imagine the essence of vervain, call upon it, and ask for its help. That's what plant medicine is, you know, like animal medicine. When you need help from the wolf to help you through, you know, to learn things that you need to come back and teach others, your greatest lessons, you know, use their essence. Their medicine is available for you, okay? Especially in the spirit realm, right? If you can't get it in the 3D world, I don't have a wolf sitting next to me. That would be lovely. Don't get me wrong, but the spirit of wolf, the essence of wolf, the essence of vervain, that's how you use plant essence, the magical use of the herb, right? So in modern times, again, vervain can find a place in your seeking to see things through a different perspective by opening up the sixth chakra or third eye. It will aid in releasing congested thinking, okay? That's what, when you get real full, like that full moon fever kind of feeling, the congestion of it, that too much, like it's explosive energy, this will help you with that. A calmer, clearer mind is always welcomed when new energies and situations are emerging. So I open myself to different perspectives about my life. I ride in the boat of inner faith. So this is where we're at right now, okay? And then now we're going to go into what we need to release. All right. Seven of Swords. Lots of swords, air energy right now, okay? Wood betony. Wood betony is another one I don't have like physical experience working with. So it's funny, we had Six of Swords, now we're right at Seven of Swords. So 5 swords are flying through the air, indicate thoughts that are ungrounded, elusive, and changeable. So this is what we needed to let go of. I think that guided meditation we just did is like really good at letting go of ungrounded thoughts, right? When you get rid of what you don't want, you made space for what you do want. And if you're full up on what you don't want, you create a sense of false scarcity. Like, I don't have enough. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough energy. Only because you've allocated your time, resources, energy to things you don't want, right? So that's the false scarcity. Empty out all of what you don't want, and let's make space for what we do want. Only some of the information is at hand. Thus, 2 swords are in the ground. No person is visible, which indicates that confrontations are being avoided or that there are hidden intentions. There can be a sense that things are too changeable and confusing to bother about. Usually when there's information I'm not aware of, and I always assume that there's information I'm not aware of or forces beyond my control, I feel into this, I meditate into this, and I say, you know, if particularly I'm I'm feeling stuck in a situation and I can't move forward with it, this is where I call upon like the mysteries of the universe. There's some element here that I can't control, and I should stop trying to control it, because maybe that controlling energy is the thing that's isn't allowing movement, right? Hold on, it looks like we have some more comments. Okay, so Clara wants animal one. So Kimberly, did you want, I said oracle, you mean like my shaman oracle cards, or do you mean the Magdalene? Magdalene, okay. Because that's the only one. Kimberly, I'll do a Magdalene card for you. Okay. All right. And the others, I'll do a Magdalene as well. Sorry to interrupt this. Here we go. So again, back to what I was saying. If you feel like you're really particularly stuck, it's because we're maybe trying too hard, we're efforting too much, and there's forces beyond our control. Silly example of this. I was driving to go get my boys yesterday in Houston, and on the way back, people were kind of driving like gridlocked. And I remember saying to myself, like using that saying that Abraham Hicks personifies, things are always working out for me. Things are always working out for me. And I just stayed in like this watchful, allowing state, and miraculously, like, cars would move out of the way and I was allowed to pass. It was like really, it kind of became like a game. And as soon as I would get to a place where I felt like utterly frustrated, like, oh my gosh, there's a tractor trailer and they're like both trying to pass another tractor trailer, and I was getting frustrated, things are always working out for me. And like the other one would slow down and a space would open up. And I mean, it was like when I got rid of that like forceful energy of like pushing and making sure things are happening, nothing moved, right? So understand that there's always forces that are beyond our control, but also that we're mere human, and the infinite and the divine can work in amazing, miraculous ways. To me, it's like that piece we forget. Like, even though it may feel like a wild card, we don't know, it's also the space of mystery and miracle. And that's the space that I always assume is there to be for my benefit, right? Things are always working out for me. So it may be a good time to do some research or to collect knowledge and ideas from others with regards to seeing a hand. All right, well, gather more information. Be in a state of, well, let's see what's really going on here, right? Lay your cards on the table and be honest with yourself and with others. Be willing to reveal your true intentions, or to find out and listen to what others' true intentions are. Situations like this can wear on your nerves until it is clear as to what is going on. If you really like have to be in control and need to know what's going on, you know, around the holidays, it's like, you know, oh, I want to know like why so-and-so didn't come to my party this year, or like, you know, etc. Maybe they've got a lot going on, or they're feeling really sick, or you know, it's those sort of things where I've had to stop and let go of negative thoughts, things I don't want, and just be in a state of allowing, right? Because I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. So wood betony is a plant that has a colorful past and has been said to have the virtue of protecting against evil spirits. There's that belief that the world, the universe, is a benevolent place, right? It was planted in churchyards and worn as an amulet or charm to protect from fearful visions or negative thinking, and drive away devils and despair. Betony can be employed in this fashion, again, to ease the mental anguish and fearful visions. So I will say something. Almost every holiday, I get like, what's that, seasonal affective disorder, and I was worried this year, or I was worried, like last year I had like severe depression, like couldn't get out of bed. Christmas Day last year, I was like, I think I need to go check myself in to the clinic here. And I didn't, but it turns out in January of this past year, I was diagnosed my thyroid was messed up. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But every year I would get really fearful of going into this deep despair during the winter. And this year, I was in this state of allowance and of accepting and honoring the need to go within and rest. And when I did that, it was like I didn't fear going into despair. It was like honoring that maybe my body needed that to go within, to get quiet. And strangely enough, when I did that, I didn't have like crazy depression this year. It was actually like, wow, I was surprised. This has been one of the most abundant Christmas seasons that I've had in years, and I'm like utterly grateful. I also think too, the energy of, usually the solstice is the darkest night, right? But we happen to have the full moon there to illuminate the darkest night. So I feel like that also represents symbolism of we have divine support, right? We have the support we need if we just ask for it, and if we stay in a state of allowance. So I think what we need to release, this is clearly telling us, we need to release striving, efforting energy, and a sense of what we can't control. Let it go. We can't control everything, right? So when we allow that we can't control everything, it becomes more peaceful for us, right? So keywords, not all things are being revealed. Need to be honest with self and others, which is always good. Honesty saves time for you, for them, everyone. Research needed in order to find out what is going on. With a peaceful heart, I gather information and truth for my plans and goals. So let go of all your fears and just start gathering information and be in a state of allowance, right? Now, this next card is saying, well, how do we do all this, right? Perfect. Death. And some people this may be alarming, but to me, death is always about rebirth. Like, there's a song Bob Marley has called The Real Situation. And there's a line in there and he says, total destruction is the only solution. And at first I was like, well, that's kind of fatalistic. But for some, if the old ways really just did not work, you just need to totally do away with them, right? Total destruction is the only solution. And this past year for me was all about undoing old structures, false senses of security, my financial state, all kinds of, this was like a real humbling year. And yet, after all the rubble cleared, this coming year, I have a whole new foundation set up. I get to build again, brick by brick, this time with way better intention, right? And I think that's what death is saying. Release it all, get rid of it, right? And start rebuilding with way better intention. So let's look at death. Death is a major arcana card, which really has a lot to do with like rites of passage, not just daily life. So you've got stuff this year that came up that it's just time to shift. Something changed for you, a rite of passage, a new era of your life. It's just time to let it go and move into that new era. Don't let old residual beliefs, maybe mistrusts. Example, if you take old hurts from a relationship, but you want this year to be like the most endearing and loving one yet, and you want to move into sacred union, you can't do that if you're hanging on to old hurts from the past, right? You have to be in this forgiveness state, and I'm saying this for myself as much as anybody else. That's the death of the old, right? The death of the old relationship. If you want a new relationship, if you want a new relationship with yourself, with your partners, with anything, you have to let the old one die, right? So, death Ruled by Scorpio, is a symbol of rebirth, transformation, change, and initiation. And I love that word, initiation. In any kind of spiritual vision quest, soul journey, you become an initiate. You become a student, right? You've taken on the intention to do this work, right? So you, with this card, this is how we release. We take on the intention, we're going to let it all go, right? We're going to let ourselves be in a state of rebirth. The blooming red roses symbolize the rejuvenation that we will experience by shedding our old skin. By the way, the rose, symbolic Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, the Marys. And the third Mary, Mary Salome, I'm not too familiar with her. I'm going to do some more feeling into her energy, but she's coming up for me too now lately. Our old worn out ways for the rebirthed self. This is shedding old skin. You can call on Spirit of Snake for this. Snake is wonderful for shedding old skin. And I had a dream. I haven't had a dream before. The only other animal that I was ever able to get in a journey, like embody, was wolf or raven, right? I literally became that animal. Like I saw the world through their eyes. And I had a dream and I was like that in the snake. And it was like Brother Snake came to me and told me, it's time to shed old skin. You need to let this stuff go. So it's really powerful. Like it's telling me apparently the dream, and then this is saying really get into a new state. Like you have the power to do that, right? Death of the old is necessary for the new to emerge. The old is like a compost heap full of rich experiences from which new forms emerge. If we resist changes, we may experience pain. That's what I was saying, that efforting, that pushing, resistance, be in a state of allowance, right? Receptive mode, as Abraham Hicks would call it. Emotionally and physically, but if we exercise our creative imagination and visualize a new, more peaceful, at ease self, a self that is in a better position than before. Remember what I was saying, like I decided I'm going to, old situation came up, old trigger, and I decided I'm going to do something different here. And I got a better position than before. Then we can move easily through the unknown fathoms of death and let it take us from constrictive patterns of the past to emerge like the phoenix soaring upward. For real, total destruction, the only solution, right? And the phoenix rises from the ashes, right? Death is getting down to the bare bones. It asks us to look at our true inner yearnings for emotional and spiritual peace. Sometimes people think, oh, bare bones, it just feels so empty. But when you're full of overwhelm and what you don't want and hoocha and junk and density, bare bones is lightness of being. It's just high vibe, emptying your vessel out of crap you don't want, right? It asks us to be reborn through our union with a greater power. The elderberry bush has for thousands of years been venerated by people of many parts of the world. Elderflowers, they used to plant them on, and I believe elder is what was the crown of thorns for Christianity. In lore and legend, it is an emblem of sorrow and death because old traditions held the idea that the cross of Calvary was made of a giant elder tree. From that time, the story goes, the elder was never able to grow into a tree, but forever remained a bush. In Europe, the elder was trimmed into the shape of the cross and planted on new graves. If it blossomed, the soul of the deceased was believed to be happy. Elder is also in Druidry, a very sacred bush. They make wands out of elders, and so they're a very sacred tree / bush. Pre-Christian Northern Europe, the elder was intimately connected to magic, and here we go. It is said that magic wands were fashioned from the elder branches. The herb helps to allow the death of the old to be transmuted into the new rebirth self. So set your intentions. Maybe use the essence of elderflowers and elder bushes to really move you into a new state of being. Hey, Chris, welcome. Oh, wow. I don't know why I'm freezing up. Happy Sunday. Nope, you can get a card. Which one would you like? Do you want the Magdalene or an animal card? Let me know. All right, and I'm still doing the group reading right now. We went over the where we're at right now, what we need to release, and how we can release that. And this is the overall energy of this period of the waxing moon, I'm sorry, the waning moon, from the full moon now into the new moon. So, suspended person. I used to not like this card. It just kind of made me feel weary or leery. And now it's like one of my favorite cards to get. And it's perfect for the solstice. It's basically saying to stop what you're doing and allow yourself into the space of what you're intending. The herb for this is kelp. This person, you see, they're like under the ocean, upside down, right? A young person hangs upside down in the divine ocean of life. His head and arms form the equilateral triangle known as the water triangle. His usual fiery and exuberant nature in life has been reversed, and she is still. It's like the symbolism of, because I'm from New England, and where they tap the maple trees for their sap, and they tap them in the fall because their sap is going down into the roots, right? As the leaves are falling off the tree. The sap is its lifeblood, right? But that's how they preserve themselves through the winter. Their sap goes down into the roots and it stays there. That's where their essence and their rootedness is. And so this is saying, in a way, kind of let your energy, your life force stay rooted in a stagnant state. The pants are blue, signifying the quieting of the sexual procreative impulses, or those impulses that stimulate further endeavors. I really believe that through this whole process, this is saying you need to take some quiet time to be in ceremony, to do some kind of ritual releasing, to decide what your intentions are. Really set aside that time to be of intent for the new year. Because, not because you want to jump on the bandwagon for New Year's resolutions, but it's just that this time of year is calling for it, right? This winter solstice moving into, you're preparing for the spring. What do you want? What do you want to let out in your life, right? The suspended person, ruled by Neptune, is learning the art of self-realization and inner quietude in order to go beyond the illusion that we as individuals are the managers of the universe. Again, that what's beyond our control, let divine, co-creator, we're part of it, but the universe is the other part of it. And let miracles happen for you. Let the divine enter your life, see where it's entering your life. And it can be quite magical. You can see where, like, I had no idea how this situation would get resolved. And I just left it up to spirit. And parts, unbeknownst to me, interfered or intervened, and suddenly it was miraculously solved. Ways you just can't imagine, right? Yes, kelp is for cleansing, yes. And kelp also is known as plantain, not to be confused with the banana-like fruit. I have plantain, let me see, plankton. When I ordered kelp, they gave me plantain, which is like a type of kelp from herbs. What do you call it? Mountain Rose herbs, and it's actually really good for helping calm inflammation in the body. I drink it for sinus irritation. Same thing with kelp. Kelp has got a very calming, sort of soothing feeling to it. Nourishing. Think about that. The full moon in Cancer is all about nourishing the self, right? So you need to be in this nourishing state for yourself. The suspended person has a sense of the divine wisdom and essence that guides and unites all the cosmos, from molecules to plants, animals, stars, and planets. You're all one, right? There is no separation. There is no other. This concept cannot be grasped in mind. It is a feeling of non-resistance, and a feeling of recognizing the one essence, the living consciousness of the universe, right? So they're on a vision quest. You should be on a vision quest in the next, a couple days, to see what it is that you are gaining by opening up to the unity of the cosmos, right? Kind of be in a watchful state. You're empty and you're waiting, and you're going to see what shows up, and you're going to assume it's good, right? This involves moving from escapism to inspiration. The suspended person is learning to trust in the wisdom of the world, that there is a conscious, wise presence in and amongst us all. So just trust that there is a divine, benevolent presence in your life. Yep. Yeah, mountain cedar's bad. For me, for some reason, and as I was burning cedar, it doesn't affect me too much, but when it rains, bad. Okay. The sea vegetable kelp is nourishing, cleansing, and decongesting to the system. You can probably get some plantain tea over at like a health food store, like Whole Foods, Sprouts here in San Antonio. You can also order it from mountainroseherbs.com. Get one of those tea, loose tea steepers from Teavana or elsewhere. I just put all my loose tea in there, and it sits, and then it drains through the bottom. It's super easy to make loose teas now. Used to be I had like this little metal a little strainer thing, and it would sit in there, and sometimes it would cloud up the tea, but my little tea strainer, I don't know what it's called, from Teavana, is like excellent. So medicinal properties. Kelp soothes irritated throat, mucous membranes, soothes coughs, dissolves firm masses such as tumors, treats enlarged thyroid and swollen painful testes, and reduces edema. So to me, it's all about soothing, and that's what you're needing right now. Soothing of the self, especially if you've had like a lot of stress, aggravation, you've taken on a lot of people's energy through this full moon and like the holiday season, people's stress and tension. Like sit there and go, what is mine? What is yours? And like get rid of what's not yours. You don't have to hold on to anything. I've noticed too, if you're very intuitive, you may be, like I am, processing a lot of energy for the collective. Just know that if you're feeling like, where is this coming from? It's out of left field. It may not even be yours, but maybe the universe is bringing it to you, asking you, because you are gifted and talented in this way and able in this way to feel into this collective energy and know how to process and release it. Okay. So a lot of that was, for me, was like anger and the patriarchy. I went through like this crazy, literally crazy last week and a half with my partner, and I had to really be intentional. Like, what do I want to create in the space between me and you? If I have a choice, it's not going to be anger. It's going to be love. That's what sacred union is about, like honoring yourself and honoring the other, right? And how do you do that? How do you honor yourself and the other? What do you put in the space in between that connects you, right? So, yep. So, last but not least, the affirmation for the overall energy of this week. My heart is a fountain of peace. I bathe myself in divine love. I love that. I bathe myself in divine love. Let's just bathe ourselves for a second in divine love. Like, yay! Like, I feel so much better dealing with idiots this week, right? Because I bathed myself in divine love. And you too. I bathe you. All right. So let's set that aside, and I will pull the cards for everybody now. Let's do some So Chris, you said you wanted an animal card. All right, let's do, I'm going to do Magdalene cards first because a couple people had asked for that. And she's really like bouncing to get out of this box. I feel her energy. Magdalene, see, she just threw her card at me. Who better to teach us sacred union than Mary Magdalene, right? The divine feminine, Yeshua's beloved. For feeling any anger, even unconscious anger about patriarchy, or like the news is bothering you and you're just angry with it, I ask Mary Magdalene, how can I look at this through softer eyes? Because I don't like how that feels when I get angry, and sometimes anger is good fuel, but don't stay in that state, right? How can I look at this situation with an open heart, right? Like in just true feminine strength. All right, so here's a card for Karen, because she asked for one, for Julie, and Kimberly. All right. I did them upside down. She's wanting us to know something upside down here. All right. What's the opposite of that? You're being tricky, Mary. Okay. Usually when something is upside down, it's saying it may not come as easy to you, but when you succeed at it, it will be so much more meaningful to you. So trying to gain a higher spiritual state of awareness may feel like a long and slow process. Yet remember that a part of you exists always in a higher state. Higher consciousness is a knowing and wisdom far beyond words or explanation. It is your true nature, the eternal light of your soul, right? There's no point in trying to reach it, just as there is no point in trying to escape your physical reality. It just is. Kind of like the more you try, the further away from it you get. And so allowing, be in a state of allowance. To ascend spiritually is to accept and love your physical reality. Where are you at in this real world? Like, we can't be all airy-fairy, right? If we're modern mystics, we're here, 1 foot in the physical world, 1 foot in the spiritual world. So it's good when we're too much in the physical world to try to reach the spiritual world, right? But we can't stay over here in abstract spiritual land. How do we apply divine guidance to our daily lives? So it's maybe a little bit challenging over the next few days, but with intention, through staying nourishing to yourself and allowing spirit to be a part of your life and influence you, you will get to that place where higher consciousness means being fully present in each moment. And stop trying to reach it. You may just realize you're already there. Okay? The less we try to strive and work at it, the easier it becomes. Stay in a state of allowance. And then you'll be like that cork bubbling up to the surface. Instead of, the more you try, you push the cork down. Let it go. It automatically comes to the surface, right? Exactly. I'm channeling a lot of Abraham Hicks today for some reason. I don't know why. Thanks, Abraham, for your guidance. Apparently you wanted to be here. Okay. This card is for Julie. Gaia, also upside down. Gaia being the living mother, the energy of Mother Earth. Whether male or female, you're advised to embrace your feminine side. Definitely all about sacred union. There's a lot of masculine energy, right? Especially in this physical world, the thing that is physically out in front of you, 3D logic, like I can prove it, that's masculine, but what's behind your eye, that's the feminine going within, right? This is asking you to go within. The only thing the upside down is telling me is it may take some intention. It's not gonna, even though we just told Karen, stop allowing, stop forcing it, get intentional about being receptive. Get intentional. It might take a little bit of intention. I don't want to say work. That's not the right word. If you feel that things in the physical world are creating obstacles to this feminine side of you, allow that feminine side in, okay? So this means embracing your intuitive, gentle, and loving nature and applying these qualities to current troublesome situation. Embracing these nurturing and gentle qualities will help you feel a greater sense of balance, and this will help you overcome your present difficulty. So, like me, when I would get aggravated with my teenage boys, I had to put a more, instead of being like the authoritarian parent, like, Father Kronos, Saturn, the divine father, be the divine mother. Nourish, gentle, allowing. Doesn't mean let them get away with whatever, but I'm not the one who's aggravated. So allow yourself that sense of balance. Ask Mother Earth to help ground and strengthen you, and you will feel a renewed sense of vitality. When I think about divine feminine strength, sometimes the most strong things are gentle. I think of like the energy of like Maya Angelou. She didn't have to yell. She didn't have to raise her voice. She had this like strong dignity about her. And I think of that as like Mother Gaia, like this strong dignity. She doesn't need to be violent. Water over time shapes what it wants in a very powerful way without forcing. Well, water can be quite powerful on its own, but Mother Gaia is very grounding and gentle. Spend time in nature, do some gardening, or go for a walk in a park. Feel your connection to the earth, and remember that both masculine and feminine qualities are complementary. That's the sacred union. One is not better than the other. One is not trying to suppress the other. They honor each other, and we honor both within ourselves and through each other, right? So, balance, true power, and wisdom are only possible when you embrace both. For years I have felt your yearning. Forever I have loved you. That's from Mother Gaia. That's for Julie. So now this one's for Kimberly. Sacred sexuality. And this was really deep on my mind this week. Like, what does it mean to allow your partner to love you in a sexual way that doesn't feel objectifying? Because I think our culture, men, don't know any other way to love their partner other than through the patriarchy, really. And so sacred union, sacred sexuality asks for a deeper connection that's really like a joyful coming together, right? So think about that, not just maybe in a sexual sense, but even for yourself, like joyfully enjoying yourself so that you can enjoy your partner, right? Sexual energy is perhaps the strongest motivating force that we humans possess. Yet, this energy is also one of the most misunderstood and misused and exploited, I will add that in there, energies. Sexual energy, when honored and combined with love, takes on a sacred form and becomes an extraordinary power. I will say that a lot of us women who are especially in mother energy have been very stressed out, where we've lost a sense of the goddess, a sense of sexuality and pleasure. Like, I can't be bothered. That's just ill. Like, the last thing you want to do is be present for your partner, and yet we're giving up a lot of pleasure in our lives because we're staying stuck in stress. We're full of what we don't want. So we need to empty out and allow ourselves this ability to receive pleasure, right? And that means emptying out of a lot of anger and resentment, if you have that towards your partner. Great achievements in all areas of life are possible when we learn to control and direct our sexual energy towards a particular endeavor. There's another piece in here too. Us women, we tend to forget, like, we give up our own sexual identity as a person in contrast to the roles we perform in our lives. What do I mean? I can't be sexy if I'm a mommy. I can't be sexy if I'm a married woman. I can't be sexy if fill in the blank. Who are you as you? What do you like? What pleasures you? And it's so hard in our culture to undo shame and culture. What's the word? Cultured notions of what women should be and should not be allowed to do. Examine that. It's kind of like a big thing, it's like a huge endeavor, but start thinking about that. What do you like? Never mind what your partner likes, and he likes red fingernails, but what do you like? Do you like being a size 10 if he wants you to be a size 6? What do you like? In my case, my guy likes me to be bigger, and I don't like being bigger. And I think I would feel better if I lost a little bit of weight, but he doesn't understand. He thinks I'm beautiful just the way I am, and thank you, I love you for that, but I need to feel good, right? So this is what this is asking me. What do you need to feel good to get in a sacred state with yourself, right? So sacred sexuality is also a communion with the divine. How I think some womb healing, sacred orgasm, people get, oh, that's all weird, but why are we like that? That's our pleasure, and we're being told like that's silly or shameful or not a necessity, a luxury. Definitely not, because when this part goes away, our joyfulness goes away, right? So reflected through one another, you come face to face with the God, goddess of all creation. God, goddess of all there is. It is through such a union that you soon experience a most profound sense of love and bliss. This experience will also have a profound effect on your life. Honor it, for it is truly sacred. Thank the universe for this blessing, right? Allow more pleasure into your life. Get intentional about that, right? Okay, that was for Kimberly. And it could be something like, wow, I feel really sexy when I wear my hair down, or I feel really sensual when I'm eating chocolate. Whatever it is, it's sensory, okay? Let yourself get in a state of pleasure. It could be even letting people open the door for you, allowing yourself to receive. All right. So let's get the animals for Clara and for Chris. Oh, and yesterday, as I was driving, I love Texas. Texas is a bird watching capital of the world, one of them. I saw no less than 3 falcons / spotted hawks. Beautiful, beautiful. I mean, we have a lot of Texas vultures. They often people mistake them. They're beautiful creatures flying gracefully in the air. And I saw a lot of vultures. I saw a lot of hawks, and I saw my one lone white snowy egret. Lots of bird energy. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful creatures. And whenever you see vultures, you think, oh, well, they're not very nice. But to me, I love seeing the vulture because it always reminds me it's time to clean it up, right? It's always time to get rid of the things in my environment that aren't working for me anymore and make things look nice and pretty. Because that's what they do. They're beautiful for our ecology. They clean up the roadkill off the road. You know, they're the thing that gets rid of the deer that's died on the side of the road, or the raccoon that's died on the side of the road. They're a beautiful part of our ecology and ecosystem. They're very stern creatures, stern, austere-looking birds, the Texas vulture. And they kind of have a bad reputation, but, you know, being a vulture, right? What is a vulture? Something that feeds off of the work of others. But really, what one man spills, you know, one man gathers what another man spills, right? So I think they provide a wonderful role for Mother Earth, right? And the hawk, always be aware, always be watchful, right? And the egret's always, to me, very feminine energy. How to stay calm in hot, you know, rough currents. All right, what do our beautiful animals have to teach us? This is for Clara, and this is for Chris. All right, Clara. Ooh, peacock spirit. Ooh, time to get pretty. Let it shine. That's what it says. Let it shine. When was the last time you shook a tail feather and shined your light for all to see? Yeah, enjoy it. Get in there and let everybody know your beautiful talents. Within each of us is a peacock spirit yearning for expression. How are you yearning to express yourself right now? Are you called now to show the world the gorgeous creature you are? For you are a manifestation of spirit. Come out from your shadows, peacock spirit says, and show your true colors so that others may be inspired to express their own exquisiteness. Definitely some pleasure in there, right? If you're feeling like a creative block, the same. It's over. Time to let it all out. Dance as if you remember that you were made of stardust and grace, filled with life force energy and sparkling light. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Remember that. You know, maybe the information that you're downloading might be common knowledge, but only the way you filter it is what's divine, right? You are a channel for divine love, and your dance is one of a kind. Catch the light and help it to shimmer and dance in celebration of your good fortune of being right here, right now. Only you're the only Clara or Claire right here, right now. You're here for a reason. Your existence is important. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. Yes. I think that's a pretty good card. Spirit wants you to be joyful so that others may get up and dance along with you. Nice. Ew. Yeah, Chris says overwhelming with so many. Yeah, are you working in retail? I can imagine everybody's like stressed out. You're absorbing a lot of energy. Kimberly says, wow, all these things are just needed for me to hear. Once again, thank you for sharing your insight. My partner, I've been really blossoming on the low. Good. That's awesome. Aw. Peacocks are. I love peacocks. Like, it's time. Show us your beautiful colors. I have this video of a peacock where it's just like when they finally bloom their tail, they're like, it's like amazing, beautiful creatures. Lots of bird energy. And this is perfect for you, Chris. Eagle spirit. Spirit has your back. Awesome. Okay. Think of the eagles flying high above the other birds, soaring on the wind. What do we always call in when we call in your eagle spirit? The bird's eye view, right? Eagle's like kind of the king of the bird kingdom. They're a symbol of strength, wisdom. I don't want to say superiority, but I mean, like, if you want to be the fully dignified ruler of the bird world, you think of eagle, right? Eagle spirit has appeared to ask whether you're willing to soar to new heights, even if that means solitude for a short while. Yes, sometimes you gotta go alone. You don't have to take everyone with you, because you can always come back. It just means for a short while. Truly, all the wisdom of the world is available to you. Okay? When storms flash across the sky, it is Eagle Spirit that raises you above it all, helping you conquer fear and overcome adversity, reminding you that Spirit has your back and wants you to experience life at its fullest. Experience life at its fullest. Not only through the little lens that I'm letting myself. There's a dream in there that needs to come out. At this moment, you're meant to show that you have the highest of wisdom and courage within, gifted to you by Spirit and all the angels. Boldly build your nest in a lofty space and know that now you can fly effortlessly, proudly embodying Eagle Spirit in all her glory and grace, claiming what is truly yours in divine timing. Divine timing. It's coming. It's time. I think that's an excellent card. I just want to sit with that for a minute. Divine timing. Like, you know, it's time for you to let your dream out, really. So, thank you, beautiful, beautiful people, for sharing this moment with me, for sharing this time with me. Enjoy setting your intentions for the new year, really, because the new moon's coming up. I don't remember the exact date, but I will put in the comments section a link to my Overcoming Energetic Blocks with Moon Cycle. Some of you may have found this before. I felt like I wanted to revisit that during this full moon for some reason. And there are a couple of exercises that you can record yourself. We did one, if you want to go back, if you missed the beginning, we did a guided meditation on releasing. If you're feeling a lot of that angsty full moon energy as it's waning, the releasing exercise we did is really helpful for grounding and making you feel peaceful. I mean, I came into the card reading kind of like agitated and ungrounded, and just doing those simple little 5-minute meditations like make all the difference. So if you want, they're there for you. It's my gift to you. Merry Christmas. Hopefully I'll hear from you guys over the next couple of weeks. I'm still feeling into, like, do I want to take up doing weekly card readings? I haven't decided yet because I've got kind of a crazy next couple of weeks coming up, or months. So more to come on that, but I do have a couple of cool announcements. One, I did say at the beginning of this card reading, I will be doing I'm actually doing 2 interview series so far. One is called Women Who Run with the Wolves with Linda Vetras Nichols. We already did our recording on that, and I really think you'll enjoy it, because if you haven't read that book by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, she took a story from you know, each chapter in the book, and my story was on Sealskin, Soulskin. If you're not familiar with the book, it came out in 1994. I read it when I was 17. The book is all about on coming home to, that chapter is all about on coming home to yourself. And the story of Sealskin, Soulskin is how we lose ourselves in relationship and how we can call ourselves back, put our soul skin back on, right? And it's a really powerful story. I encourage you to check it out. Me and Linda had a great interview, and like, she's really kind of encouraging me to write a book about it. So really, it was like, wow, I didn't realize I already had like 1 or 2 books already in there to come out. So that will be coming out February, okay, mid-February. And then I will be doing another interview with Sama Morningstar on the topic of embodying Shakti, which is the life force, moving energy through your body, and how I overcame menstrual migraines. I was really suffering from them, and it had to do with how Kundalini or energy Shakti works in your body. And I feel like really moved to start doing some more embodiment, like somatic therapy kind of exercises. So there's a lot coming up and coming out. I am also considering doing a little podcast just to talk about like things that are coming up for me and stay in tune with you guys on a more regular basis than just the card readings, because these can be quite lengthy, and the podcast I'd like to keep to maybe like 20 minutes or so, unless I interview somebody and they have a lot to say. But for the most part, just little snippets, sound bites, things that, you know, we can think about on a more regular basis, things that are coming up for me that I'm want to talk about daily, like all my stuff that I was talking about with the anger and the patriarchy, and how to navigate this, how to be a loving, open-hearted woman in this time frame where you know, and to be cognizant, to want to be examine this sort of stuff without being angry about it, without being like in denial. Oh, I don't want to be seen as a feminist, or you know, ball breaker. Or, well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about all these things and how we can do shamanic practices to help move us through this energy, some of these anger, this emotion, this consciousness that we're releasing for the collective. And the other thing is, I'm making some of these. Some of you guys have heard the ways I open sacred space. I'm also going to make little digital courses. I'm debating if I'll bundle them, and you know, whatever. They'll be low end priced, but maybe like anywhere from $10 to $30. To their little tutorials on how to maybe create your altar space, how to smudge, how to journey, open sacred space, those sort of things. And I really love the idea of like a gift economy, or you know, offering donations. Like any little thing helps. You know, if I do these card readings out of the kindness of my heart because I love being here and I love doing this, and I feel like it's my purpose work. And so in the future, I may be having, in addition to these, I want to leave these always free, because it's just my gift to you guys. But I may be doing some calls that are very specific, like healing circle type calls that I'll host on Zoom. And those will be for like a love donation. Maybe we can do like a sexual healing call, or you know, another specific, you know, solstice ritual, or the spring equinox, something like that, as it calls to you guys. So I'd like some more input on what you want to talk about, and what we can host a call about, and then I will send you the link to the call upon donation, or if you made some arrangement with me to be on the podcast, or you know, share your gifts here in some way. Maybe you like to sew, or you have something you want to talk about that's cool, like some sort of exchange to be in energetic integrity. Okay, so I feel that I take a lot of love and joy just by doing this for you guys. So this is my gift to you guys. These card readings, that's my gift to you guys. So in the future, let me know what kind of calls you want to have. What do you want to talk about? What kind of circles do you want to do? That sort of thing. So sending you off, set some intentions for yourselves, be in a state of allowance, put your gifts out there. It's our time to shine. So lots of love to you. So bye for now. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Enjoy the Yule, whatever it is that you celebrate. Much love to you. Bye for now.